models?
Oh, I thought a wonderful presentation that we had by Tony Malotto from GK here in Manila, and it was a fantastic presentation showing how a committed alumnus was able to come back to his alma mater and through his alma mater effectuate change in society. The projects that he spoke about in terms of developing communities, in terms of housing, providing livable housing, providing education. We know that our alumni have in their heart what is the right leadership.
Yes.
And so how do we mobilize that alumni, which is one of the wonderful things that we did this year here in Manila, was the inauguration of our Global Jesuit Alumni Association worldwide. And that association, we think that we can bring the power of our alumni, the power of their positions in business and industry to really make a difference in the society in which we live.
Dr. Escudero, you mentioned...
Well, I think that, one wonderful example, I would say, is Ateneo itself. I think that, this combination of excellence in the education and attitude of service, through so many examples, so many actions that are being already developed by Ateneo in Manila, is an example in itself. But you would be surprised how many examples like this are at this moment worldwide. And I think that, what is really happening is that we are becoming more and more aware as business educators that the world is facing some challenges that cannot be ignored because they are going to determine the investments in the future.
Yes.
We have got energy stresses, we have got food security problems, we have got water scarcity problems in the world, we have the threat of climate change. Those things are going to determine the bulk of investment in the both public and private. So we should teach this kind of horizon to our students. And they should become aware where we are living and how can business be more than a problem, a solution.
That's right, and I was leading to that also. And you mentioned the growing problems around the world, and you mentioned sustainability. How will you be able to sustain a business practice or your own business with all these threats, knowing that they will be growing, as you said, in the next couple of years and next decade?
You see, the question is that today, in the last 10 years, something very dramatic has happened, and is that companies and corporations have increased their power tremendously in the world. So in fact, they can become part of the solution in the future. And I think that the evidence of those problems is what really changing the behavior of companies toward responsibility and sustainability. So companies that really want to be successful in the 21st century, they are not thinking anymore about the short-term profit, but about the long-term growth of the company, and that implies that the company has positive impacts in society. In other words, business cannot be explained anymore in the 21st century without society. And the role of business has to be positive for society. And I think that that is a core teaching that we have to develop, because we are in fact in front of a new paradigm. In a society that is transparent, and when society is asking for business, as I said, to be part of the solution.
And it's going to be beneficial for both business and the community.
It's a question of a win-win, and there are already so many examples of companies that are being successful. At the same time, they are being very positive for society.
That's right, and that's why we've seen growth in the CSR, in the participation of big companies putting up their own CSR departments, growing it and helping the community they are surrounded.
That's the trend. That's the trend, and that's why, for instance, initiatives like PRIME, the Principle for Responsible Management Education, of which the International Association of Jesuit Business Schools is part of, now with 320 business schools around the world, and growing, is trying to precisely to do that, to put at the core of our teaching in the business schools of today and tomorrow the core concept of corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and the need to consider the positive impacts that companies can have both in societies and in the environment.
Dean, it sounds like you have a challenge there with more and more people wanting to go into business and study business?
Well, you know, one interesting insight that we got from our conference is that in many of the Western economies, when they think of sustainable development, they think of the environment as the key issue. But in many of the developing countries, when they think of sustainable development, poverty alleviation is the key issue. And bringing people from third world or developing countries and bringing people from developed countries together, we see, sharing ideas, we see that the two issues are intertwined. You cannot save the environment without alleviating poverty. And you cannot alleviate poverty without solving the problems of the environment. So this is the challenge for us. And I think it's an exciting time to be a business student. Because the challenges are so great that it really is exciting to see how the tools and theories of management can be brought to bear to the biggest challenge facing the world today, which is saving the environment and making it livable for all, not just parts of the world, but all of the world.
And anything that they learn is readily applicable. It's not just going to be concepts and what do you call this, theories about how to solve these things, how to react when this thing happens. It's already here. All those challenges are here already, and what they could learn is readily applicable.
Because a lot of it is problems of efficiency, problems of logistics. Oftentimes people say the problem is not a lack of resources, but the problem of sharing the resources effectively. So many of the businesses, if we work with science and we work with social science and we work with humanities, business people can bring this together and help create solutions for these problems. It's an exciting time to be a business student.
Right. Dr. Ilferts, looking forward, what's next for the association?
Yes, well, the association is continuing to develop its initiatives in global sustainability. We are committed to effectuating programs that will bring together the leadership and faculty as well as the students from around the world in various projects. Our next meeting next year is in Lima, Peru, and we will continue to build on the global sustainability theme that was here in Manila.
Okay, Dean Rudy Ang, Dr. Greg Ilferts, and Dr. Manuel Escudero. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have another set of guests after the break. If you have allergies or you think you might be suffering from one, don't miss our Health Fix segment coming right up. After this break, you can hear in Mornings at ANC.